All right, let's get right into it. We're talking about Meghalaya, a state that's just famous for its stunning beauty and amazing culture. But lately, there's this tension brewing. On one hand, you've got this packed calendar of incredible, vibrant festivals, but on the other, some really tough questions are popping up about money and priorities. So today, that's what we're unpacking. Are these festivals a brilliant celebration, or are we looking at a crisis in the making?
So just picture this for a second. It's December 2025. You're at the gorgeous Wards Lake in Meghalaya. You're surrounded by these beautiful pine groves, and it's all the setting for the big Winter Tales Festival. I mean, it sounds absolutely perfect, right? A total winter wonderland.
And of course, the way it's being promoted sounds just as good. They're calling it a celebration of sustainability and indigenous culture. It's all about being eco-friendly, supporting the community, preserving culture. Looking at it like that, what's not to love? But to really get what's happening here, we have to zoom out a little. Because this Winter Tales Festival, it isn't just some random event. Nope, it's a huge part of what you could call Meghalaya's festival economy. A whole statewide strategy built around celebrating all year long.
And just take a look at the schedule. You've got Winter Tales, right after the huge Cherry Blossom Festival, which is right after the Megong Festival. And the list goes on, all sponsored by the state. This is not an occasional party we're talking about. This is a very deliberate, repeating pattern of state-funded events.
So, you might be asking, why? Why do all this? Well, the government has a pretty clear argument. They say these festivals are absolutely essential for boosting tourism, for showing off the state's incredible culture to the world, and for building what they've dubbed a concert economy. The whole idea is that these events create jobs and bring in cash.
And they even have a number to back it all up. The official line is that for every single rupee they spend, these festivals bring back 5 rupees in economic activity. A 5x return. That sounds like a massive success, doesn't it? It's a really powerful reason to keep the money flowing.
Okay, but this is where the story takes a really sharp turn. Now we have to look at the other side of the balance sheet and dig into what the source material calls the uncomfortable arithmetic. It's time to start counting the real cost.
And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures that shift. It's the moment we have to look past all the shiny ads and promo videos and stare right at the cold, hard numbers.
And whoa, these numbers are big. The estimates suggest that with about 10 major festivals a year, and each one costing between 2 to 5 crore rupees, well, you do the math. We're looking at an annual spend of somewhere between 20 and 50 crore rupees. Let's be clear, that is a ton of public money being spent on parties.
And this brings up a huge question. What else could that money be used for? Think about it. That 20 to 50 crore could pay for the entire yearly budget of 50 primary health centers. All of a sudden, the choice becomes crystal clear. It's concerts and pretty Instagram pictures, or it's healthcare clinics for the people who need them.
And that really gets us to the absolute core of this whole debate. It's a fundamental question of priorities. How does spending this much on festivals make any sense when you look at the state's overall financial health and, frankly, its other incredibly urgent needs? First, you got to know the context. Meghalaya is running a fiscal deficit of almost 2,000 crore rupees. That means the state is spending way, way more than it's bringing in. So this isn't a government with a bunch of extra cash lying around. They are deep in the red.
And while money is tight, you have these real life-or-death crises happening. The state has more than 10,000 registered HIV cases, and there are reports that patients can't even get the life-saving medicine they need because, well, there's a shortage of funds.
And it doesn't even stop there. All of this is happening while teachers are protesting because they haven't been paid, and basic public infrastructure is literally falling apart. So the point is, this big spending on festivals isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening while essential public services are really, really struggling.
So we're not here to give you the final answer. Instead, the goal here is to arm you with the right questions, the questions that any concerned citizen should be asking. Think of it as your own personal research mission.
The first question is all about transparency. It sounds simple, but it's so important. What is the total government cost for just one of these events, like the Winter Tales Festival? And I mean everything. The venue, the security, the artists, the marketing. What is the true all-in price tag?
Next up, we need some perspective. How does Meghalaya's spending on festivals stack up against other states that are famous for tourism, like a Kerala or a Himachal Pradesh? Is this kind of spending normal, or is it a massive outlier? Context is everything if we want to know if their priorities are out of whack.
And that brings us to the last and maybe the most powerful question of all. It goes right back to that 5x return claim we talked about earlier. If these festivals are such amazing moneymakers, if they generate this huge profit for the state, then why does Meghalaya still have such a massive revenue deficit? Where is all that extra money going? It's the one question that just hangs in the air, and it really demands an answer.